welcome back to Zero Camp. We are in the 4th round of the Last Chance Qualifier. We have Boomhowler from Brinebloods versus Horruskh from Sea Raiders. The Boomhowler player won the roll and decided to go first, and the Horruskh player chose the right side of your screen.
Yeah, and the players have chosen not to be mic'd up for this game, so you're going to hear our voices a lot. Buckle up, buckaroos.
The Boomhowler player did rack Fortify, Perdition and Rough Seas, and the Horruskh player chose Silence of Death and Carnage.
So Horruskh player choosing the right-hand side of the board. Looks like there's a bit more cover further up the board that way. I can see that getting board position. Still being able to hide behind that forest after a full run is probably going to prove quite valuable.
Yeah, the only thing that I have a question about really is that there doesn't seem to be that much actual shooting in the Brinebloods list. They don't really have any guns on their heavies, and so it's really just the Marauder crew that are going to have to stand there. I do agree with him racking Carnage. Boomhowler can get a little disgusting with their def skew for a turn. And Silence is going to help the Ulcors chew through those Marauder crew with, denying them tough.
100%. And Carnage is going to probably prove quite valuable with the +2 to hit, especially against Boomhowler feet with the +2 defense.
That's what I just said.
I thought you were talking about... well, that's fine. No, I thought you were saying with not much shooting.
Oh, no.
Talking about the
Rough Seas is... I don't know.
Rough Seas is an interesting one. Like, there's not a lot of shooting on the Orgoth side, but
while
with that
the Belcher Quad Bolter Tyrant is pretty scary, I don't know if you need to be racking Rough Seas when, for the one turn that you have +2 defense on your heavy, bringing it up to a pretty clean 14, and still might miss some shots, especially that Belcher shot at Rat 5.
Yeah,
it's going to be a tough time.
I'm not sure, not too familiar with the Troll rack to know if there were potentially better options.
Perdition as well. I don't know about that deployment there of those Assault Rears. They do have to be within 3 inches of every other model in the unit, which does make advanced deploy a little difficult to do, especially with those medium-based models.
That looks good.
Ah, there we are. Yeah. He's got it now. Definitely something that I have some trouble with myself in my game.
Oh, we can hear the players.
I think that might also just be some background noise. That way it's not just you and me talking for the entire time.
Yeah, there's a
we
mic.
actually sound like we're at a tournament now. There's some crowd murmur. Looks like the Boomhowler player is running up right behind that cloud. A good idea. At least talking about the cards here that both players have. The Boomhowler player does have Arcane Forces, Blessing, Breakthrough, Pathfinder card, and Power Swell. So
Arcane Forces with Perdition. Pretty decent way to get some extra threat.
Pretty decent way to get some Perdition threats going. I think the issue that they might find that they're running into is the fact that the minimum armor they're going to run into on Horruskh feat turn is 17, which means that on average you've got to boost the Perdition damage.
I think you're boosting it every time.
Yeah, Perdition realistically is just a 4-cost spell.
It is, yeah.
Especially if you need it to go off.
Need that hit, need that damage.
If you're Sabrith and it's feat turn and you've got a free one to throw out and you don't really need it that turn, yeah, who cares? Maybe kill a solo.
But it's a big part of your gameplay, getting the extra move now.
Yeah, especially on those heavies.
Right, yeah.
Definitely opting for some more budget loadouts for these Deepborn Dire Trolls as well. Seems to have 3 spearbacks, which are the retaliatory ones that give +2 armor, I believe.
Let's get the app out and have a look.
Yeah. And then 2 Narwhal Spear Gauntlets and 2 Shark Skull Gauntlets. It does have a Deep Dweller head for the Animus for the shallow water around it.
Is the Spearback the +2 armor one?
I believe so. I think it's the +2 armor retaliatory back.
So those 13-point die trolls with the Narwhal and the Shark Gauntlet, they're sitting at armor 22.
They are sitting at armor 22, which is a tough nut to crack.
Especially
However,
with the Fortify bringing them up to
I will say that the Horruskh player does have a scything flail, which does cut 2 armor off of that heavy pretty immediately.
Absolutely. Getting through those bucklers.
Those magical chain weapons getting around those shields is a rough time to deal with.
Southern Creels. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? The spearback? Static adjustment, +2 armor, and retaliatory strike.
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty tough to chew through, especially on Boomhowler feet. Really trying to crank up the uninteractability of those models.
The downside to those loadouts is they do max out at power and strength 16 on the Narwhal Spear Gauntlet.
Ooh, that's not going to make a dent.
No, they may have access to rage, which heads to.
I think it's not the Bellower head, and it's the Cantankerous head. That's what it is.
It is the.
It does have access to rage.
So there is
the potential for another +2, but I will say between casting rage and maybe trying to get a perdition off or 2, it's going to leave Boomhowler pretty low. Interestingly, no lights in this list. I have I've had trouble with those lights in the past with Boomhowler. They shoot pretty well, and they give her some good animi to run around with. So, Boomhowler herself, no slouch in melee.
Like this movement with the Tyrant here. Moving up to be within aiming threat range of that flag if anything wants to go up and score it.
I think the trouble that it's going to have is seeing through the forest to that flag.
It's a hill.
It is a hill. Never mind. Side view. You can look. Looking top down, it all looks like forest.
Yeah, they've all been. Word
Who set out this terrain? I swear to God.
Definitely.
I'm gonna find them. Gonna find them. I'm gonna give them a talking to.
Essentially jockeying for position, staying out of threat ranges. We'll see what happens on the bottom here with those big boarding crew.
Yeah, I think that's the boarding crew.
Boarding party.
Yeah.
We've got
so
one that can see around the edge of the cloud. So if
they
want it,
do also have annoyance. So getting that possible 1 extra defense on Boomhowler feet, pushing the heavies and the Marauders to def 15. And the pigs too, I believe, def 17. If they're in melee with living models, well, in melee within an inch
I
of
was
living models.
a little surprised to see that prey from the Reavers was placed on the top unit of the Marauders.
Oh, was it?
Side of the board from where the Reavers set up, so we might be seeing a little bit of a movement shenanigans.
Bit of a
going on
shuffle.
next
Well,
turn.
I mean, it could definitely be discouraging them from pushing up to that side.
Absolutely.
And especially with the cloud in that way, it's pretty easy to just park your prey unit behind that cloud. The middle of that board over there is pretty open. So maybe trying to counter the
going up front.
the unit just kind of running up the board.
Does the troll player... No, we do not have sentry duty, so that cloud will indeed be blocking line of sight to everything. But with perdition, can get around it.
Now, I actually really like the troll player's positioning here with Boomhowler. She is out front, but neglecting the fact that basically there's almost no guns in either of these lists. That's relatively safe. And it allows her to activate first to get those perdition threats next turn without having to move any models beforehand. And I will say that while taking Arcane Forces, there are no Arc Nodes in this list. So that means that if you want to stay 15 inches away from the thing that you're perditioning, man, you've got to use that Arcane Forces card.
Absolutely.
Already on the top of round 2, Orgoth player is finished moving.
Keeping these 2, and then my caster is going to not go yet.
These are pretty quick 2 rounds. You see both players only having used 5 minutes of their clock to get through their first turns. Pretty good clock management there.
My caster is going to...
Is measuring out just the movement and shooting of the boarding party. There could be a charge lane there.
He is going.
I don't know if there could be a charge lane. It's going to be pretty tough. It'd probably come down to a laser.
move forward a little bit.
Yeah, getting that boarding party in to take out some of the assault reavers could prove quite valuable.
Now, what I will say, the boarding party don't have to charge you. They do actually have pretty competent guns. They do have POW 8 blasts, so even if they miss you on a 7, they'll kill one of those assault reavers, and that is not good. You do not want that.
2 minutes, defenders.
You can hear Lauren in the background there with their narrative event going.
See Boomhowler here. Did we see her activate and cast Rough Seas and is contemplating feat?
Contemplating feat. I actually think it's.
And doing the battle shout to give repo to the boarding
special
party.
orders. Give them
Five
reposition.
inches this way.
Seems like a good idea.
Doing that,
The other thing that I will.
and then he gets 1 more inch.
Yeah, special orders giving a unit repo 3 is quite good in the current state of how things go.
1 inch.
Really being able to spread that unit out to make it hard to kill the entirety of it next turn and kind of declumping them at the end of an activation. Very good.
I'm going to move him down. Care if I come to your side of the table? Sure. All right, I'll move those guys around, but I can't reach.
Oh,
We are quite deep into the opponent's side of the board, so troll players moving around, seeing where they can place those pigs.
Thanks.
So if you see hands on the right-hand side of the board, it is the troll player.
Do they have
trying to get as
reach?
much line of sight as they can onto these things. Maybe try and take out a Volcar.
Oh, that would be strong.
That would be quite strong. The Volcar is a incredibly strong support piece for 2 points.
One thing I've noticed
love
about a lot
that
of
thing.
these Mark IV armies is that the support solos or support units that sit in the back are quite valuable. So if you can reach into the back line
Trying
and
to
start
get that
taking them out.
maximum 2 inches placement on the unit movement there. A little tough with the hill, nudging things around a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little rough.
Slight disadvantage to 3D terrain, but it does look very good.
Very thematic.
That should be good.
Excellent.
All right.
Alright, let's see what damage can be done.
Yeah.
This guy is going to shoot at the guy that gets cover.
Ooh, yeah, granny cover is pretty good.
I have my dice out. They're right here. I do. He is a 5.
So we're shooting the guy in cover.
Miss. It's a POW 8 on him with his armor.
7.
Nothing.
Ooh, roll a 6. Not enough.
Yeah, hate to see it.
Hate to see it. Continuing the
6 plus 8.
the idea of our stream games, dice being quite the factor.
The cursed dice trick.
Do that same guy.
Always one
He
off.
still gets cover.
Still getting cover from the second
9
attack.
plus 14. Nope. POW 8 on him. Is
Still doesn't kill. Oh no.
guy will do that one. Does he get cover? I don't think so.
Doesn't look like it from our
From
angle.
the far guy, I don't think he'd be getting cover.
Same as it was, within an inch, any line of sight.
Within an inch line of sight, target originating from here is at any point. If it's any point of the base, any point of the base, then yes, it gets covered.
Okay. These two don't. The other two don't. So, this is
Getting
the
that laser
guy.
out just to double check. Good to see.
Still hits through cover.
Wow.
Ooh, wow, rolling that really, really high 11.
Him and a POW 8 to the other two guys.
Oh
POW
man.
12 on him
AoE
is
2.
dead.
Oh yeah, definitely
POW
dead
8
on
on
that
the
pal
closest
12.
to him is dead.
All right, making up for the other rolls here.
Is not dead.
Ah, not dead with the
Closest
6.
guy
Still has 2 more shots.
Still has 2 more shots. I think it might run into some
So I'd
range
almost
issues. The
not want to kill with the blast there, so
boarding
you
party,
can
I
hit
think,
another
are
hit.
range 6 on their grenades. So it's going to be maybe a little tough to reach the rest of those assault
6
raiders.
hits an 11. So POW 8 on him is dead.
Ah, there we go. Roll that 8 to kill.
That's 13.
I didn't hit, so it's a POW 8.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, miss.
Get him.
Yep, that guy's dead. And then, was that 4, right?
Yep, just got one more at the very front.
Yeah, this guy doesn't get cover.
Oh yeah, definitely doesn't get covered.
Out in the open.
Miss.
Still misses.
POW 8 on him is dead.
Still killing. So now we have one assault
AoE is
reaver
very
and still
strong.
the most important part of that unit, the banner.
That banner. The
That
-1
banner
armor.
is so good.
Now Repo, what's he going to do? He can choose to be very
Yeah,
annoying.
I personally would probably choose to just use them and clog up that that little entryway for those ruins there. Kind of threaten a little bit further into the zone, especially contesting at the next turn. Choosing instead to back up the hill,
To be honest,
not
I do like
bad
the backing
idea
up because
either.
then if you want to kill them with any of those solos, the solos have to commit further out rather
Also
than
very
just
true.
standing in the ruins and getting some damage done.
Yeah, with the one who'd probably be able to do it the most, that Reaver Commander over there, definitely still has a 1-inch melee, so would be fighting uphill in terms of mat.
And uphill in terms of the board.
Yeah, that too.
There is a hill there. Yeah.
They're not going to run.
Herald
They'll
Dave.
still run, yeah. Run to there.
Now you see the strength of repo on a unit here. So any one of those models can be used to move the rest of the models in the unit. So
Yeah,
spreading out
really
that
kind of projecting that threat for next turn. And especially congratulations to the Brineblood player for getting work in on Horruskh before he gets to you. That's always a
This
tough
guy's
part
going to Rylan.
of trying to get through a lot of these things, is getting those plinky shots in before he actually gets to you and puts his whole army up on you.
Now there's
This guy is doing
no sentry duty on the Horruskh side, is there?
It doesn't seem to be. If we go through Orgoth's cards here, it does seem to mainly be Blessing, Careful Reconnaissance, Old Faithful, Power Spell, and True Inspiration. True Inspiration probably being used on those Assault Reavers, or possibly in this case, since the unit is pretty far diminished, maybe one of the important solos, like that Reaver Commander.
Now Blessing of the Gods with the chain weapon
these
on
guys are going to.
that tyrant. Definitely going to chew through the Fortify beast.
Oh, for sure.
Only at dice -2.
Yeah,
Maneuver a little bit. They're going
yeah.
But have to get there first. And the
No,
Brineblood's player has done a very good job of saying what appears to be outside of
Granted,
threat.
yeah, on that Fortify heavy, he could also decide to spend his Blessed card.
to here. And then they're all going to shift.
That's what I said with the -2.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were just mentioning the chain weapon and the shield thing.
No, so it's armor 24 with Fortify.
Yeah. So you cut it back down to armor
20.
20.
So
Yeah,
dice
because
off
of
2
that
with that flow.
freaking spearback.
Is it 19 or 18 on the flow?
It's 18 base.
18,
It's just, it's so very often 20 because I wrap red line.
Defenders, it's end of round.
These guys will run.
But we do not have red line here.
Doesn't
Do Sons
have
of
red
Death.
lines. Still gonna have to pay one to charge, cutting the threat of
And
his
this guy
tyrants
is
down
going
to
to-
10. And also cutting the shooting threat of his shooty tyrant down quite a bit as well.
Run.
Does seem like he has the ability to leave that shooty tyrant outside of Horrusk's control range, given that unit of War Witches is back there as well. Looks like we flipped back around to the Orgoth player's turn.
Now, did we get a feat out of Boomhowler?
It doesn't look like we got a feed out of Boomhowler.
It seems fine to me. Outside of threat for most of the,
No,
most of the board.
Walking threat is 5.
It is pretty precariously close to those Axers. I really don't like how close she is there.
I don't think the X's will be getting to Boomhowler.
Well, if they run, they
They
can.
have the Pathfinder card.
Right.
Charging threat, probably not. I think, well, one of them is sitting kind of just outside, and so is Boomhowler there. There is only 12 inches between those two zones, and the Axer's threat 11.
I believe the mark was put down, but that is, or at least that was measured. But we'll see. Shall see what happens.
Gonna. does
Either
have
way, getting a
two
unit of
transfers.
old core axes out with Horruskh feet right in front of your caster.
That is for sure. Both players kind of jockeying for who's going to feat first. In a war of defensive feats, it is good to try and have your opponent feat for positioning first, as then you can actually do the little bit of work that you need to, and then kind of hopefully time walk your opponent into giving you a second turn.
Now, with the troll heavies having snack, pretty decent way to get through. Bruce.
Snacking doesn't prevent tough.
Doesn't it? I thought
Tough
it was
is
on
on disabled.
Ah.
Yeah, so
darn.
it's when it was disabled. Snacking does prevent stuff like overtake, so a little bit of anti-synergy there usually. Something that you'll find with quite a few Orgoth models is they don't always interact favorably with your other rules, but it does mean that a slightly damaged troll heavy walking into an entire unit will then be a mostly undamaged troll heavy by the end of it.
Healing back is good.
Quite, especially with regeneration. So they can actually heal themselves on their own activation, and their warlock doesn't have to go first.
Absolutely, especially if they've
Yeah.
only got their spirit. Make sure they're functioning well enough.
Let's see.
What are we measuring out here?
Looks like that's a Jackal charge threat, possibly a run.
Possibly
Not
a run.
sure.
I think he might be measuring out a slam to get that heavy in line of sight.
What would he be slamming?
Heavy. It is fortified though, so it may not be moved
It's
by a slam.
fortified, so I don't think it could be moved by a slam. I also don't know if the Jackal could make it to the heavy.
Arknode.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. It's almost like I play this faction.
We did see it in game 3 yesterday where the Jackal moved up and there was an Arknoded slam to push a striker away.
Quite good. Despite the fact that it is a 4-cost spell, Horruskh casts that quite often just for its cost rather than getting Blood Boon off of his sword. When you can get it off of Blood Boon with his sword, man, that spell's way better when it's free.
Yeah, fortified does stop being moved by a slam.
Yeah, so he'd have to find some way of dispelling that. He doesn't have Hex Blast in the list. Both on the rack and on the character solo Therian Vinek for Orgoth.
Unless there's some other spell he's thinking about.
I don't know.
Measuring out some Reaver movement here.
Running.
Ah. Running his Reavers.
No allocation or anything. This boy's gonna run.
Not necessarily too sure about that. The Brineblood's player isn't really threatening to cap that flag at the moment if the Orgoth player doesn't do anything about it. So, I'm not exactly sure.
Definitely ties up some of those boarding party. Stops him getting further into his backline.
That's for sure. Do you wonder what else he's going to try and do? Granted, what I will say, feeding for the Orgoth player might be the right move here, if only for the fact that he has Carnage to kind of make up for Boomhowler feet being a thing.
Somewhat get through that defense feat. It's also there stopping the healing, at least on the infantry. Does it give Grievous Wounds?
No, it doesn't give Grievous Wounds, it just gives no tough and RFP on box.
Gotcha, so it's not going to stop those heavies from healing.
Yeah, it doesn't look like either player has Savagery here, which is...
Trollblood player will be happy to see that.
honestly, so will the Orgoth player.
Sorry, not Trollblood. Southern Creoles.
They're not Trollbloods anymore.
Not Trollbloods.
They're pirates.
Yar.
Now, the actual... going back to that plan of putting the actors on to Boomhowler here, if he does just run them to engage her, she does actually have Grievous Wounds on her melee weapon, I'm pretty sure.
I hope the player here is not trying to do a slam because he's about to be reminded what Fortify does.
No. Quite
We
a
shall
rude
see.
fashion.
It's like Drax gonna run to here.
Yeah, so we're running up onto the hill.
The Orgoth ritual begins to falter as the defenders manage to assault the soul parents. Blindergast roars in
I
anger.
had that slammed right here.
Seeing his hanged
Yeah,
foes
doing a
try to
slam.
slay him.
Storm the.
Round 3 attackers, 10 minutes.
Yep, we're going here. Cost 4. We're gonna boost it.
Is casting the slam spell.
I hope the Troll player remembers that he cannot be slammed.
2.
I hope as well.
We're gonna use the command card to give him another one.
Another.
Oh, he's using a lot of focus and a command card here.
Oh, okay.
If the Trouble player does say, hey, you can't slam me, it's going to be an unfortunate time for the Orgoth player.
Actually, I wonder if that's an Animus
7. You're a potato.
that's on that, and not Fortify.
Extra dice because that works on routine.
I do wonder if Fortify actually might be somewhere else.
Can we get a board side
Maybe we
of
are
where Fortify is?
mistaken.
I am seeing a token, but can't read it.
Looks like the Orgoth player clocked to the Trollbloods player.
Just ranged.
2 dice. Go here.
Okay, he is boosting.
That'll hit.
Does hit the slam spell. Let's see how far he goes. Horruskh.
No dice. Slams you.
He can't be pushed or moved.
Oh,
It is Fortify.
did see Fortify there. That's what that was. So boosted the power 14, did a little bit of damage, maybe, but didn't end up getting what he wanted out of that. I assume he was going to try and slam the heavy onto Boomhowler? See if he could get that rule of least disturbance and then pop a bunch of Ulcor onto her.
Yes, it's just a good reminder. If you are playing up against
That
a
would
opponent-
have been game, by the way.
I don't think they would. I guess these disturbance could have pushed it forward.
Yeah, could have pushed it forward and then.
That was not measured, so it'd be lucky to see if that could get off. But yeah, if you
You
do
probably
see a
have to
spell,
roll a full 6 inches for the slam.
just a
to
reminder,
see.
if you do see a spell on your opponent and you're not 100% sure what it does, do ask.
Ask what they do.
Yep.
It will save you games. 'Cause as it stands right now, you just paid 4, probably 5, for doing a POW 14 to an armor 24 War Beast,
Yep.
which is dice off 10. On average, does no damage.
Yeah, I get in the habit of just saying, hey, can I, like, I want to slam this thing. Can I slam this thing? I want to knock this thing down. Can I knock this thing down?
Yeah, definitely ask if you can do what you want to do to your opponent's models.
No, before you start moving models.
Hey,
or
can I
planning.
charge that thing? No. Oh, well, I guess I can't charge it then. Before you pick up and move your stuff. Definitely a good idea.
So looks like we've got a bit of a change of plans on this turn.
Definitely. Could have
It
decided
does
to
mess
see if
with
you
your
could
flow
slam
when
that
that kind of
one
thing does
Marauder into
happen.
the other Marauder. Would have been a pretty good use of the spell, given that a POW 14, even with the collateral, probably would have dealt most of the stuff. Looks like the Orgoth player is just repositioning, probably just accepting that he's going to lose that Jackal next turn.
Who is?
You're here.
Okay. He is a not in Rusty's, but he's a 14.
14.
Yeah, he's
That's
also got reciprocate.
Aiming's +2 still, right? So 8 plus 6, 14.
Maybe hand himself a combat coordination for a reroll if he needs it.
Anyway, Tower 12.
Got something aiming and shooting.
Yeah. Oh, now I remember what I was going to check on my app. Does look like those Ulcor did just kind of reposition there.
Yeah, it looks like the Orgoth player does not want to use their feet, so just jockeying for position, staying out of threat ranges,
Yeah.
kind of reevaluating the turn after that slam failed, and saying,
Well,
what can I do to not lose
Did
too
it
much?
fail, or was it never possible in the first place? Failing is if you miss the roll.
He
Yeah,
failed
so,
to slam the model.
Boomhowler's melee weapon does in fact have grievous wounds, so the idea of sitting a bunch of Ulcors on her, even just by running and feeding with Horruskh, not a good idea.
I do
Can
see
just
a
tag all
prediction
three of
coming
them.
with Arcane Forces this turn. Those all cores are a good target for it.
Ulcors are quite the good target for it. And also, heading into bottom of 2 here. Oh no, top of 3. Top of 3.
Bosun
That was bottom of
charges.
2.
Is that in range? No quarter.
It doesn't look to be. Now, granted, one of those heavies might end up charging an entire unit of Ulcor this turn.
To be honest, charging that light, those Marauders
Actually-
will probably still kill it.
I don't know. He's going to have to clean up those 2 Assault Reavers first, because those are the closest models. Yeah, the one really limiting factor on Perdition.
Unless he wants to get that fortified troll in
So,
there.
definitely, instead of deciding to shoot that one pig with the Reaver Commander, could have given those Assault Reavers set defense. So if they do get charged, they're just that harder to remove. Wow.
Oh, measure that 2
Definitely
inches.
going to have to check those 2-inch marks there. That is
So he'll be on fire.
quite wide for deployment.
Yeah, the other model. Measure your models. I mean, it does look like that first Marauder that moved could have moved in a further north fashion.
Yeah. But in terms of where things are ending up,
I'll do those first.
do kind of need to check where you need to be.
8.
Trying to clear out these. Maybe trying to do that Perdition trick.
13. Then. That guy.
To be fair, though, only 2 models need to make attacks. Those Marauders are very good.
Okay.
They are.
Yeah.
Gang pushes them up to being pretty much worth their points if you can get them there.
Matt 8, 5s to hit and automatically killing.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, and that banner is gone. I'm a little concerned about the Horruskh player's armor swing kind of slipping away with that banner dying. -1 arm is really important to keep around.
We both are 1-1, by the way.
Oh, they both scored their zones on their own turns.
Yeah, that's important.
The score is 1-1. Looks like the Trollbird will be going up at least 1 more with the flag at the bottom here.
Well, probably it tends to
The Orgoth player is zoned for this turn as well.
Yep. There's
See
Pickboarding
what
Buddy
he can do.
doing the
4
Lord's
inches
work.
there.
Which one?
2 inches. Up to right here.
Morrow. Morrow. Morrow? Morrow. Obviously Morrow.
And these guys.
I'm more of a Thamar guy myself.
2. Reach.
What about Carver? Another Lord.
He is but the bringer of most massive destruction.
He's
So
the Lord Carver.
he is Lord Carver.
Doing the Lord's work.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Carver
Taking out supports in the back. Again, as we see, a lot of the Mark IV armies
Oh,
do
there are
rely on
2
this.
Reaver commanders there. Didn't notice that. Huh.
I get 4 shots at. I'll take
Now,
2 the closer Reaver commander.
Still death 13.
Or the further one first from the front guys.
Good.
5s. 7 hits a 12.
I am defense.
13.
Okay. 8. Pow 8 is
Double 6.
That's a 20. It's 3 damage on that Reaver commander there. They are base 15 with a shield.
Let's see how far.
He does. But he's armor 15.
Ah.
The next
Orgoth player forgetting that they have shields.
furthest
They are on the card.
shots at the closest guy
Pretty
there.
sure, unless they took it away.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Miss. Pow 8 on him. Is
Off 7.
Let's check
Minus
that
1
Reaver
damage.
commander. Yeah,
second
no, his shield still gives him a +2 armor. So,
Pow 12.
Unfortunately.
premature death by 2 extra boxes on that
12
one.
on your guy first is dead.
Oh,
And then it'll hit my own guy and
oh, that was a POW 12 with
Oh,
rolling
hard
a
to
10,
tell
so
if
it
was
would
on
in
2
fact
inches,
be
the
a
model has been
22.
removed. Yeah, one thing to note with Blast is measure before you do your damage, just to know what was
Yeah,
hit.
just to check what else is hit. It is also in the timing steps to do that as well. To check which models are automatically hit by an attack.
'Cause it can be hard to put it back and say, we think this was within 2 inches.
Definitely.
Oh no, very good activation from the pigs there. Unfortunately, the +2 armor from the shield was forgotten. But taking out 2 Reaver commanders,
2 Reaver commanders?
and Horruskh hasn't feeded yet.
Horruskh, he's really trying to save it, and I don't know. I think if he loses that unit of Ulcore this turn, that probably cinches the game for the Boomhowler player here.
It's always assassination.
Yeah, but I mean, he could probably keep it pretty
How
safe.
safe
She
they can
is,
play.
I believe, control 14.
One of those games, Warmachine is never over.
That's very true. Very true.
It's over.
Horruskh is on the opposite side of the zone from her, so it's going to be pretty tough to get her
Oh, it
there.
looks like the Marauders are going to be going in. Nice. With the no quarter 14-inch... Wait, the 12-inch move. Is it 12-inch move? No quarter up to speed 8, charge 11, threat 12.
Total threat of 12. I don't know if they were within 12 of those Ulcore.
Unless that was the 10-inch template, and then a 2-inch, and then a 1-inch melee afterwards. So we shall see. It looks like that was a 10-inch with the 2-inch extra measured
Yeah.
out. Which is where now there's going to be moving some models in after the placing. They're going to get some attacks in on those Ulcores, and
Seems like it's going to end up being pretty rough. Ooh, once again, possibly placing a model outside of 2 inches from the original
it looks like the
model
extra.
it's from.
Not measuring it, but it still looks close to 2 inches. But
Possibly. A medium base is about 1.5, 1.6.
but not measured, just eyeballed.
Yeah. That
Still-
one in the back in the forest is going to be forfeiting its combat action as it has not engaged anything,
we'll do a hit here first.
but probably just not able to fit.
From the furthest guy that's only in range of that guy. It is a 5 plus 8 hit.
That's 13.
It's
Hits
armor
on 4.
13. Or POW 13.
What'd you roll?
POW 13. What's it on?
Armor 18.
The
On 5 is 6 damage.
two Reaver commanders
Shooting the same
handed
guy.
those Ulcore set
As a
defense
miss.
as well.
Charging with the next guy who's only in range of him.
I don't think he ever really had to move through his own models on his turn.
POW 13. Nothing.
Ooh, low
Rolling a
roll on
4.
3 dice, rolling a 4.
Miss. The next guy who's gonna charge the same guy. Hits.
Hitting with an
On
8.
5.
Got 3 guys attacking the one at the top there.
Yep.
That's actually a tough check. Not tough. One Ulcore down.
Engaged with 6 plus 5 is 11. Miss. Next is my weird-headed guy. He hits off 5, which is 7, 8, 9, 4 damage. Shooting him. Hit. It's a POW 12.
Wow.
So you're too lower here. Too lower on this one, I believe.
Are you a gun? Oh,
Yeah, gun.
Armor 16 with unyielding.
So off 4 is 3 damage.
Ooh, one left on that
And then
guy.
my last guy, will hit that same guy that's already hurt. He's a higher POW. Nope. Didn't
Oh,
knock
this
him down.
is you away now to
He's a
attack
POW
on this
15.
middle guy.
So, dead.
Tough check.
Tough check.
And he has cleave, so he'll also
Stop.
attack the guy in front of him.
Ooh, he's
Cleave
gonna
attack.
get cleave.
Hits. He goes down to a POW. Is he engaged?
Yeah. I don't think that guy's fine.
Is this guy engaged with him?
I have 2 HP.
Okay. Gang going that way?
Is it you that has to engage me?
Let's just say it's me.
Yeah.
Ooh,
POW
nudge.
13 then.
I still think it was within an inch.
Yeah.
But
Off.
yeah, questioning how gang works, it does have to be you, both of your models engaging the model that you're trying to fight. That's a rules clarification.
Yep. You have to be
Yeah.
disengaged.
Otherwise, that would create quite the disadvantage for 2-inch range models. Or 3-inch range.
True, true.
Stay out of.
And here we kind of see a really good strength of
Can he
Brineblood.
stay out of
He's-
forest? Put your proxy base down
he's,
and do a laser.
He is taken
Does look
out.
like he'll tap it.
I would say you probably have to tap it.
He's based up, almost base to base with it. He'd have to go pretty much directly straight up the board.
Mm-hmm.
Angling would touch the
Now-
forest.
Back to what I was saying. The strength of Brineblood's here. Infantry can still do a lot of work on you before their beasts even get to you. And
So he'll do the Pathfinder card.
definitely seeing...
We're using careful reconnaissance here to get that trollblades in.
that'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is getting all this damage out on a Horruskh before feet.
Go this way a little bit.
Very
Pretty
rough.
big. Trollblade player is definitely swamping the board here.
And then he is
Yeah, I don't know if Horruskh is going to have that much left to feed with.
into the fighter.
And Boomhowler hasn't even gone.
Because he doesn't have rage. So he's on fire. This guy is going to move into the fire too.
Doesn't look like he's even going to be going for it this turn. Moving into the fire because he knows that he's safe. Casting
Still
rage
staying
on
Not bad.
Cost
on
2
that
for
one.
rage. This guy is going to take the Pathfinder card and charge.
Yep, getting rage out before that charge.
And switching out proxy base. Good. Good to keep that there so you know where you're going to end up.
Charging with his good weapon first. It's about 18 right now.
I don't know
Has sustained attack and it
if,
hits.
that heavy has to pay one to charge or not.
What's your attack?
Face off 1.
Oh, looks like he did set the marker down next to it.
To the 1.
Well, damage to the one on that charge attack. Hitting
Yeah.
a power strength 18, and that narwhal is sustained attack, so not even going to roll to hit.
You're 19? Yeah.
I'm a 17.
Okay.
That's an 11 on the damage
So
roll.
dice off 1 is 10 damage.
Yeah, wow, that jackal is going to evaporate.
And then last attack is a
Oh yeah,
partial
troll
cheat.
heavy to
He
a
hits.
light. That thing should die.
Off 3
I
damage.
mean, Orgoth
Getting
fights
a-
are a little more resilient than most, but yeah,
Fine
I
attack
agree.
is
That
sustained,
thing
so
is going to
damage
die.
is +1. 6 damage to the 5.
Especially when he continues to roll pretty well.
And then my caster is going to move back. There. She is going to
Playing safe with
cast
Boomhowler at the back here.
Very good decision to make.
2 rough seas.
Rough Seas going up again.
And she is going to
We got
feet.
2 Fury on the base of the top, 2 down south. That's 6 in total on the board.
And now scoring 3 points up on the Orgoth player, going 4-1.
That's heavy. That's very heavy. And feet is up now, too.
And feet is up, so it's going to be really tough to dislodge those pieces from where you need to have them. Personally, I think a very, very good turn for the Brinebloods player. Kind of just measuring out, doesn't need to commit too much.
Not going up 3. I don't think he scored the flag at the top.
Oh, really? It
He
looks
did
like
not
he has
run the
someone on
solo
it.
to it.
Oh, no. No, that's just the Narwhal Gauntlet. It looks like a model from here. Going up 2, still not a bad turn. Probably.
I'm not sure if that solo can even run to the flag now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Staying back to be just a contestant in some following turns, potentially?
Possible. The Orgoth player doesn't have anything really on that side that can cap that flag at the moment, aside from Horruskh himself. He has that second unit of Axers. He has Horruskh. He has both of his Tyrants still, but he is down a Jackal. He has taken out, I think, one model out of the pig unit, but other than that, the Boomhowler is sitting pretty unscathed army points-wise at the moment.
Can you cast Silence of Death on a Warjack?
Yes.
You can get that tyrant to straight dice damage against that heavy by the flag. It will still be healing D3 per attack.
Which is a problem.
I should have contested with him.
Tyrants have a lot of initials, so deciding what initials you'd like to take, possibly risking your opponent healing more damage than you did, which is always a bad time. Interested in what he's trying to go for here.
I think he's just checking what's in feet range.
Oh, yeah, that would be it.
Knowing which models have +2 defense and heal at D3.
And no longer having, what is it? The ability to grab Precision Strike on models with the depth of those Reaver commanders. It's going to be a little rough for the positioning game here. It looks like his unit of War Witches is a little far off to the flank at the moment. The thing that I will note is that the Boomhowler player did use a fair amount of clock that turn.
That's fair, down to 24 minutes.
Only 24 minutes.
I think we're going to get within range of Death Dark Shroud from those witches.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
we're measuring that out.
Think
That's
so
just
either.
outside.
It's got to be about a 14-inch if you've got the repo card.
I don't think repo card is.
Yeah.
If you have repo, that which
It is something that I
get
take
with him.
in pretty much all of my Orgoths. Does not have it. So going to have to kind of rely on just the walk and place part of the War Witches, which is about...
Actually, that's a fair point. Getting that repo card in the witches does make them threat very far with the -2 armor.
It really does.
I mean, you see Infernal players bring the repo card just to get the Hermit up.
Yeah, exactly. Walking 5, doing -2 armor within 5, and then walking another 3. I mean, that's a 13-inch threat of the bubble, of the you die bubble.
And then
Whereas,
I don't kill enough if you re-die.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the you sit your opponents in it, but then you don't sit in it.
5 inches is pretty big.
Yep. It's like a living room in a house. It's for your guests. It's not for you.
You have rough seas up, right?
Yep.
Confirming Rough Seas is up.
Yep. So those
Defense
heavies are going to be
14
Def
rolling.
14 sitting in that. Man, that's going to be tough to shoot.
Defense 16. 12, beating up to 14, concealment up to 16.
Well, the one thing that's going to be shooting doesn't care about concealment. Does still have the hunter
Does
head.
have the hunter head on?
Yeah. No.
That one?
Yeah, the one up there, that big fin.
I don't think that's going to be getting anywhere near them.
Oh. For shooting the heavy again.
The other heavy, for sure.
Oh, yeah, the other heavy. Nothing else. And it's
Not the two in the
probably
car.
best to fire the quad bolter at the heavy, maybe do some chip damage on the way in. Fighting through that fortify, even on a POW 15, is going to feel really bad. Seeing if you can clear out some of those Marauders beforehand, seeing if you can free up that Tyrant. Definitely going to be a thing to try and do this turn. Seeing what you can do. So, we'll see what's up.
Looks like we've just added fire tokens to those trolls. Yeah, that's what those circle markers are.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it didn't seem like those got marked last turn.
And that one marauder that got placed in the cloud just there as well. Upside down tokens
Being used for fire there.
good to mark. Could definitely kill things next.
Very interested to see how the Orgoth player decides to dig himself out of this hole that he's found himself in.
He's going to shoot his belcher here.
Shooting,
the Tyrant's aiming.
aiming and shooting to try and clear out.
Definitely not a bad idea.
Drop the highest, it hits. Power 14 on it. You're on like 13, right?
Yeah, so dice minus, or
Dice plus 1. Tough check.
Good. Remembering to clock to your opponent when they need to do tough or heal boxes or really do anything like
Over the course
defensive
of a
strikes.
game against Southern Creoles or Trollbloods, those tough checks do take up a lot of
Definitely,
time.
you can really penalize your opponent on that clock.
Looks like we're boosting all the blast damage here, trying to take out as many of those trolls.
I think a
jamming.
very, very good decision on the Orgoth player's part. Realizing that the quad bolter is just not going to do what you wanted to do this match in terms of getting that heavy down a couple boxes. Deciding to just go for the easier things to do and penalize your
did get
opponent
it tough.
heavier on clock.
Knockdown tough, right?
And they are still knocked down.
But they heal. Oh no, that one was not on feet.
Ooh.
Knockdown. Oh yeah, one more. That guy, we're not going to boost. Give me a tough check.
not tough.
Belcher doing work here.
Belcher doing quite the amount of work here. Going to be able to kind of mobilize that Tyrant and make sure it can still do work.
And
I
then
was a little worried if he was going to put Silence of Death and try and Thresher, given that he might hit his own Ulcore and his objective.
is the quad bolter going to be shooting that knocked down guy? Is he making his shots?
It's actually not a bad idea. Really just kind of securing that kill and freeing up the space in front of your guys.
3 Ulcore charges plus a Tyrant charge.
No,
That Tyrant's in range.
I think the main problem is that Tyrant is not going to be threading either of those heavies this turn, given to the lack of red line. That Tyrant has to still pay 1 to charge and also threats 10. The Tyrant threading 10 is just not as scary as a Tyrant threading 12.
Yeah, it's one thing with these troll armies, especially under Boomhowler, like you're considering high defense at 14 across the board. But also, those troll heavies are hard to remove.
They're hard to remove and they make really good second line because, man, their infantry get up the board at you. Even if they just shoot your front line, it's fine. They still got decent guns. Shoot a couple of your support pieces off the board. I'm surprised that Volkar is still standing, although he did have to spend all of his pigs last turn to kind of cinch that those 2 Reaver Commandos off the board.
Those pigs did everything they needed to.
I know. Every game I've seen them, they've pretty much gotten their points back. They're not that expensive of a unit.
They are susceptible to AoEs.
Quite. I think they have tough, though.
They do. Just get knocked down AoEs. I may
If
be biased
only.
here with my army selections.
Whoops.
What's that?
Whoops.
Seems like our player is conceding the match. Doesn't seem to find a way out of the situation that he finds himself in.
So that part's okay, kind
Definitely kind of
Yeah.
let the Trollblood player do a little bit more to him than he wanted. Probably should have checked the threat ranges on that Marauder unit.
Yeah, the Trollblood player definitely made their way with the board. I guess the Orgoth
Definitely.
player, I think that the turning point was that slam attempt. It kind of just messed
Yeah.
with the flow of the turn.
And definitely just kind of left that Jackal out to dry a little bit. So you've given your opponent, you know, maybe it looked like a pretty cheap arc node, so maybe 6 or 7 points. But definitely just kind of like
The board
letting him
presence
get that.
unlocking those
That on
Marauders.
top of losing the All-Cores, the 2 Reaver Commanders. Lost a lot before he decided to pop feet and just doesn't have the material necessary to continue.
But anyway, that is game 4 here with the Last Chance Qualifier. We are Zero Camp. Thank you for watching.
Look forward to seeing you in round 5.
Just doesn't.